Am I the a-hole for not going to my mother's wedding after everything my brother and his wife did? I got married in 2022. My dad proudly walked me down the aisle. It was one of the happiest moments of my life. Just a month and a half later, in December, we found out he was more ill than previously thought. His health rapidly declined, and he eventually needed a lung biopsy. He passed away a little over a week after the biopsy, and it crushed me. This is what went down before he passed. My brother, let's call him Doolittle, and his wife Priscilla, both are medical professionals, explained that our parents' home was filled with bird dander. They had over 20 birds, and Priscilla insisted that my dad could not return home until the house was completely cleaned and cleared of bird allergens. She was the one who said his exposure to the birds caused the rare fungal infection in his lungs. So I took it very seriously. We spent days working to fix the house. We cleared out each room of clutter. We rented gear, bought supplies, and I eventually hired a painter to repaint the affected rooms. Doolittle and Priscilla helped up until the paint and even agreed to split the cost, but once I hired a painter, they completely bailed, refusing to pay another cent. Priscilla was angry I hired someone, and to this day I don't know why. Did she know how to paint rooms properly or have time to? Let's not get too into that. But I will say she used a paint sprayer inside the house and screwed up the electrical. After his biopsy, my dad went to recover at my brother's house. Before this, he was in and out of the hospital, so we were able to clean the house while he wasn't there. While I was scrambling to make my dad's home medically safe, Priscilla picked a fight with my mom, who was also staying at their house to be near my dad. What did my mom do to earn Priscilla's rage? She put dishes away. Not kidding. Apparently, it was Priscilla's daughter's job, and she accused my mom of disrespecting her kitchen system. My mom was dealing with losing her husband in the near future, so obviously she wasn't thinking clearly. My thinking: the faster we get the house done, the sooner they will be out of your house. It got even worse. My mom invited an elderly church friend to visit my dad at around 10:30 a.m. and Priscilla flipped out. She called me and said, "Your mom had no right to invite people into my home without my permission." Priscilla even complained about my mom and that she wanted her out of her home if she couldn't abide by her rules. "I am not making this up," I said. "Are you seriously getting mad at my mom for bringing Betty over to visit my dying father? Like I don't have time for this." Then I hung up. And then came the moment that changed everything. A few hours later, my brother called me at 8 p.m. and said if our dad wasn't out of their house by that night, Priscilla was going to divorce him. Let me remind you, my dad was still healing from a major procedure. They both agreed to take him in until the house was ready. Moving him prematurely, especially into a freshly painted house, could have killed him. We all knew he would pass away in less than a year to maybe 2 years, so it wasn't like we had false hopes or anything. I pleaded with Doolittle. I argued. I begged. Nothing. I told him, grow some balls. But they were done helping. I had to set up a temporary recovery room in an unpainted bedroom with air purifiers and fans. I brought him home by myself. 3 oxygen tanks, hoses, clothing, food, wheelchair, helped my dad into truck and back out when I got him home. He never should have left their house at least for 2 more days. Plus his nurses were set up for their house. That was my goal. To air out the paint before bringing him home. We were almost there. And the medical professionals were too busy taking prescription pills they didn't need. That's another story, but no wonder they lack empathy. Side effect for taking drugs you don't need. The next few days were tender. My dad seemed okay. He was smiling, eating, and seemed happy to be home. Then on the second night, his oxygen machine failed. It had a filter change alert, and no one knew. He was gasping for air for nearly 45 minutes. My mom didn't hear him over the noise of the air purifiers. Again, this is why he should have still been at their house. We called the ambulance. A few days later, he went into hospice. On the day he passed, my mom and I were by his side. I opened the window to let the sun in, played his favorite news channel, and wore lavender oil for a sense of peace. I kept updating him even though he couldn't talk because the nurse said he could still hear me. I told him that Doolittle and his family were on their way. In about 15 minutes, I told him. He passed before they arrived. I like to think he chose that moment to pass away on his terms. Even after I told them he had passed, Doolittle and Priscilla didn't rush to the hospital. Instead, Priscilla said she was taking the kids to Barnes and Noble to get books about death. And her plan? She told her daughters that their grandfather was dying because he didn't eat healthy food and didn't take care of himself. She wanted that to be the lesson. Are you serious? I asked her. You are using my father's death as a life lesson? He'd only passed away 15 minutes prior. He didn't always eat healthy, but he sure as hell didn't deserve to be kicked out of their house while recovering. That's elder abuse. I should add, after the funeral, my aunt, who's a lawyer, texted Priscilla to let her know how serious that is under the state law. Priscilla stormed into our house, the after-party celebration of life, screaming at me for trying to make her lose her kids. My oldest brother threw her out, calling her every name in the book. This is what is happening now. This month, my mom is getting remarried. I was ready to go. I had my plane tickets, dress, everything. But then my mom's fiancé started texting me nonstop. Apparently, Doolittle is refusing to go to the wedding unless I agree to acknowledge him and play nice. He's also worried that his daughters will run to me at the wedding because they love me. But that was the last straw. I decided not to go. I love my mom, and I hate that I will miss her wedding, but I refuse to be manipulated or emotionally extorted. Doolittle and Priscilla regularly use their kids to control my mom. Do this, or you can't see the girls. And now they're trying to do it to me. I miss my nieces, but I do not want to be controlled by their parents. The wedding is in 9 days, and it would take me a day to get there by flight. So, am I the a-hole for not going to my mom's wedding?